What's up guys, Wordup here today with a hugely requested Legion video, which is the Havoc artifact and its most optimal path. Given how important it is to get this right, since you really can't change your decision further down the line efficiently, I can understand why knowing this early is important, so I'll do my best to run you through the path I think will serve you the best for group content, and more importantly, be ready for raiding when Emerald Nightmare launches. First, before I get into it, a few little stats and numbers on projected gains and the whole artifact power mechanic. You gain your artifact power through a variety of sources, that being open world, world quests, dungeons, PvP, and generally any meaningful endgame content at 110. Every 5 days or lower if you're returning late, you should gain an artifact knowledge level through the work orders, which apply a multiplier on AP gains to increase the value of each token you use. So, your artifact, the Twinblades of the Deceiver, is the first thing you get in Legion with your opening artifact quest. Here, I'll detail the path that you'll go down over the course of the next few months and recommend traits, and after the path, I'll go through the important traits to make note of, and finally, touch on relics a little. The first thing you grab is your active ability, which is tied to the Twinblades themselves, called Fury of the Illidari. This is a 1 minute cooldown AoE damage effect, dealing really high chaos damage to all targets within range of the blades when you cast it for 3 seconds. This is a huge burst AoE cooldown that only gets better with subsequent artifact traits that amplify it, and even in single target is easily worth the global. From here, you grab the first mandatory trait for 15% increased Chaos Strike damage in Warglaives of Chaos, then you swing straight to the left for Sharpened Glaives to synergize with Bloodlet, which you should be taking. Then we grab Balanced Blades, which is a massive boost to your sustained and burst AoE in Blade Dance. And from here, we move up to Unleash Demons for the Metamorphosis cooldown reduction and to unlock the right side path. Moving from there, we grab Demon Speed, which has some mobility and offensive options through the Momentum talent, which again you should also be taking, and then Illidari Knowledge for the flat magic damage reduction to unlock the path. Finally, we unlock our first golden trait in Rage of the Illidari, which is rushed early because of its massive power in dungeons, amping up your Rage of the Illidari. This will serve you best in the type of content that you do at the start of Legion, which is predominantly dungeons. After the first gold, we backtrack to the start and grab Critical Chaos for a solid single target increase, and then we move up to Chaos Vision to boost I-Beam. From there, we grab our second golden trait, Anguish of the Deceiver, to amp I-Beam up even further, and also enables it to be useful in single target. This should be obtainable just before Emerald Nightmare Mythic releases at 20 traits, and then you can clean up the right side, starting with Demon's Rage to boost your Demon's Bite damage, and lastly Contain Fury, completing the right side of the artifact. From here, we grab the last few traits remaining, starting with Feast on the Souls. Then moving on to the next, we have Deceiver's Fury to unlock the third and final golden trait, which is Inner Demons. All three of these traits are not particularly impactful in general gameplay, so that's why they're left to the end, and there's not really much else to say about them. From there, we grab the very last trait remaining, which is Overwhelming Power, and then we unlock the Paragon trait for flat damage increase, where you'll be dumping the remainder of your artifact power for the rest of the expansion. Some important things to note: while some paths have recommended going up toward Anguish of the Deceiver first, I'd recommend this path instead. That's because Rage of the Illidari is far more impactful in early content and in dungeons, and you'll still be able to reach Anguish at 20 points before Nightmare Mythic releases, so you won't have any loss by doing this path first. You also should make sure to grab Balanced Blades as soon as possible, as it is a great increase to Blade Dance, and it makes it even more potent in stacked AoE situations at 3 targets or above. When it comes to relics, remember that item level is always king for Havoc, as the weapon damage scaling is through the roof on most abilities, so really try not to overthink your choice too much here, and instead use it as a guideline if you have 2 items that are exactly the same item level, but with different traits. There's really only 2 important choices that you can aim for here. First and foremost, if you're using Bloodlet, which you should be, Sharpened Glaives is a great choice, as it really does contribute a lot to your overall damage. Failing that, Critical Chaos is the next best choice to boost up your crits from Chaos Strike, and finally, if nothing else is available, especially in AoE situations, you can consider grabbing Chaos Vision traits instead to amp up your AoE burst, and since you'll be using it anyway in single target through Anguish of the Deceiver, it will still have some uses. That covers the Havoc artifact then. If there are any significant changes over the course of the expansion, I'll try my best to note them. There is a reference image below that you can use to keep track of your progression in the artifact, and if this has helped you, please hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in Legion.